Alright, just 1 second while I get all this stuff set up. There. Alright. Backing out of here. Alright. It's today, January 9th, 2018. 2019, actually. 2019. Okay. And we're going to go live. And switch that one around. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. This is Jeffrey Jansen. We are live Wednesday, January 9th. 2019. Today I kind of want to go over a little bit about being a better person, about a little bit of leadership, and about being committed to the things that you say. Now, over time, I've had people, it's really funny when people get all frightened, or they all of a sudden, they're all about wanting to do things, like going in for a new job. They're all about wanting a new journey. They're all about wanting to do something different. However, when they go do it, and then all of a sudden they're just like, well, you know, they don't show up. They don't do the work. It's like being in school where they don't do the homework. They don't write the papers. They don't get the clothes they need. They don't learn the skills they need. But they, for some reason, think, oh, I'm going to go do this, or hey, this sounds great because they made it sound great. Or they refuse to get the tools. Well, then all of a sudden they're like, well, I don't want to do it. You know, it's one thing not to do it, but it's another thing to go back and pretend that people were never told you flat out that, you know, hard work goes to everything we do in life. You know, there is stuff you have to do. And I have watched people sit there and insult businesses and insult places they've gotten fired from, or insult where they got turned down from, because they felt like, oh, well, they didn't tell me, or they didn't explain it to me. Yet they were told, and they did have it explained to them, but then they go back to the next job and they do the exact same thing. What am I getting with this? Whenever you go into a job, whenever you're going to go into getting a job, whenever you're going to go fill out a resume, whenever you put in an application, whenever you are sitting down there listening to the human resources person or the owner or the boss of every job you get, you need to be honest up front and be yourself credible. Be early. If you're on time, know that you're late. You always must be early. You must dress for the place that you're going to. You must have the skills required, or be willing to learn the skills. I always tell everybody, always be coachable. One of the biggest things that I learned, that if people are coachable, then they actually have a tendency of learning. Adobe has a really good philosophy when they hire people at Adobe. This is not Adobe, it's just I like their philosophy. They do not hire anybody that's worked in any other restaurant or fast food. They like to hire brand new people that have never worked in those places, because new people are more coachable, they're more trainable, and they're not coming with bad habits that they learned from other places. This is what you can learn. If you're going in there and you're blaming the world, I don't care if you're the richest person in the world, I don't care where you're at in life. It's funny because I get people that all the time tell me all that, you know, good, shoulda, coulda, woulda, but didn't. As Art Williams used to always say, just do it. Go out there and get it done. You don't need to go tell everybody how to do something if you yourself are not willing to do the work. You know, you may want to be a manager, but you know what? Places aren't looking for managers. They're looking for leaders. Places aren't looking for somebody to go boss everybody around. That's what they have the main boss for. They're looking for somebody that can train people. They're looking for somebody that's willing to learn the jobs. You know, in the Marine Corps, we've got to start back at basics. If you're told to go clean a toilet and you think your pride is too much to clean a toilet, you're supposed to clean that toilet so the Virgin Mary herself will want to sit on it. Why? Not because it's against what you do, not it's against your pride, or, you know, oh my gosh, this is lower than me. But to show that you're willing to do it. And that not just do it, but do it so well that the next person that does it will have to live up to your expectations. It's funny, I was talking to one of my great friends. I love him to death. He was talking about how when he was a kid, he had to go work at a fast food restaurant and they told him to mop the floor, so he quit. Well, here's just it. If you're a kid, if you're a teenager, if you're in one of the transition jobs to go from learning skill sets to learning how to be a leader of people, you know, you're gonna have to learn how to mop a floor. You cannot tell somebody to mop a floor if you have never mopped the floor yourself. You cannot tell somebody how to sweep if you have never swept yourself. Why are we starting at the pure basics, the pure simplicity of everything? Because if we don't start getting back the basics, then everything will fall down. We're building our house among the sand instead of on a stone barrier. We are building a house of cards that's going to continually to fall because we don't know the basics anymore. And the basics is this. It's not against you to clean a toilet. It's not against you to sit there and go in and clean what needs to be cleaned. It's not about your pride and, oh, I don't do this because no one. No, what it is, it's you need to learn how to do every single job before you can ever expect to tell anybody else to do it. If somebody were to tell me to do something, they themselves have never done it, but they just tell you what to do based on a piece of paper, I look at it, I'm like, no, that now that's beneath me. Why? Because I will not do something that somebody has not done themselves. Now, I will go do it myself, but then that person will never be able to tell me or anybody else to do it again because now I get to ask that person to do it. What does that mean? I know this is confusing the people, but it makes the most sense. If you're going to go out into the sales community and somebody comes up to you and says, look, you have to maintain this in order to get that, but then the person goes back and says, well, they never told me. Well, that's the whole meat and potatoes of it. If somebody sits there and argues, oh, well, they lied to me about it because no, you just didn't listen. Look, if you really want to do things, you got to do your own research. You have to be educated. You have to be coachable in order to learn everything that's going on around you. In the Marine Corps, they send you to boot camp. In the Army, they send you the basic training for one reason. So you can learn how to be coachable. So you can learn to train. So you can break all those bad habits of shooting from your daddy's shotgun on your hip, because that's not going to do anything. Okay? When I was in the Marine Corps, I picked up more cigarette butts, and I don't smoke. I've cleaned more toilets. I have mopped more rooms. I have learned how to use turtle wax on things you can only imagine. I've learned how to march. I have learned how to dress. I have learned how to iron. I've learned how to cook, clean. And everybody's like, wait a minute, you're a Marine. Marines don't cook. Okay, Marines have to learn how to cook. You have to learn how to clean. You have to learn how to pick up after yourself. You learn everything. Why? Because you never know what the situation is going to entail that you get into. If you're going into it for sales and you go up to somebody and you're like, and basically say it's a plumbing company and they're working on a toilet, and you tell somebody, hey, I got this I would never clean it. They're not going to do anything with you. If you go in and you got an education as a nurse, and education shows that you're willing to learn, but then you go in for the nursing position, but they have you starting out at the bottom, and you're like, oh, I went to school, I'm not at the bottom. Well, you're not going to get the job. If you're going in to become a police officer, yet you don't know the law, and you think you got to learn it on the fly, that doesn't help. What I'm trying to tell you this. Every day, to be a leader, you must learn to lead. To learn to lead, you must know everything from the pure basics of what the lowest man is going through. You're only as fast as your slowest person. And that's what's going to get you ahead in life. You have to know what's going on around you. You have to be honest, upfront, willing to help anybody willing to, and understand that there are going to be people, for whatever reason, are going to reject your help, are going to basically say whatever they need to say in order to get out of what they didn't know they were getting into. And that's okay. You got to forgive them and move on. But if you're one of those people and you're out there talking, you're never going to make it in life. Why? How are you ever going to get the top positions if you're not willing to take on the task of the lowest positions? The top positions need to take on the lowest positions in order to earn the respect to be in the top position. You'll get nowhere in life if all you're doing is demanding stuff out of people, not you yourself willing to do it. If you're not willing to go clean that toilet, if you're not willing to go mop that floor, if you're not willing to go buck those bales, which means throw hay up in a hayloft, if you're not willing to go to meetings, if you're not willing to get the education, if you're not willing to go to safety briefings, if you're not willing to get your CDL, if you're not willing to get your nurse's degree, or if you're not willing to learn, you're never going to get the positions you want. And you're going to do that over and over again. Pretty soon you're never going to get a position, and you're going to always want free handouts. The thing with free handouts, somebody owns you when you get free handouts. If you make your own money, you get paid yourself, what you do with your money is up to you. But if you get free handouts, they get to tell you what to do. That's why I tell everybody else, there's a separation of things. If the government starts paying you money, great. That's got to come from somewhere. That's coming from the people that's earning the money, because only government makes money from taxes. And if you're like, well, I want to make money off everybody else. Well, technically then that makes you a slave to the government. Just saying. And I know people hate that analogy, but it's true. If you go out there and you earn your freedom and you do like veterans and everything else, and there's a lot of people not veterans, and I love them to death, and there's nothing wrong with it. But if you go out there and you're sitting there hard on veterans, the same people that are willing to guard your freedom and do what it takes, they have to be coachable and they have to be leaders. Don't sit there and tell them how bad they are, or they volunteered. They were willing to earn their freedom when you actually just took yours. Every day in life, there's a challenge for things we have to do, we have to get done, and we have to oversee. Every day in life, each and every person matters. But what they need to know first and foremost, that things take work. There are consequences to our actions. There's also rewards to our actions. But every day, if you go out there and you think you're going to get something for nothing, if you think that you can go into anything and get a get-rich-quick scheme or something like that, you are false. There is no such thing, and the only thing it's going to do is cause you headaches. When I tell people, if you want to start learning how to do things the right way, go from learning to basically filling out applications for a job, to writing resumes for a job, to going to college to find the job that you want, to going to the military to learn leadership skills, or maybe you can't go in the military, but no matter what, there's always something more you can do to get one step ahead of somebody else. Why? There's people out there that'll turn in a freaking piece of paper with name on and say, hire me. That person's not going to get hired if you go in there with an application that says, I want to work for you because I can do this better. But the problem is, somebody that goes in and writes a resume showing all their skills, they are then going to get a job over that. Now, somebody else that goes to college to get even more skills is going to get the job before them. Somebody that goes in the military with leadership skills. Military and college are two of the same things. The only difference is military teaches leadership. College teaches you whatever the teacher wants to teach you. It's not bad, but guess what? When employers are looking at things, they're looking at what your skill sets are. They're looking at what you can bring to the table. They're learning what the leaders want, what these businesses want. They want you to be able to come in there and them not have to tell you what to do, but for you to make them money. But if you go in there thinking that you're better than everybody else and you're beneath sweeping a floor, you're beneath starting from the bottom, oh, you need to go in here and start making six figures right away because you went to college, you're going to find out very quickly it doesn't work like that. What you're going to find out is people that have leadership skills, that are coachable, that are willing to learn in every job, any network marketing, any business, to go out to even do sales, and as long as they're coachable, are always going to make the money. Why? Because they're coachable. They're learning from failures. They're learning from the people who went ahead of them. And coachable means you learn from your failures. And you teach the proper procedures on doing things. Anyway, that's my thing for today. I hope everybody's having a great day. I will talk to everybody again in a little bit. I want each and every one of you to know that you matter, that you're important. But it's not a matter of going out there and being like, hey, everybody, I matter, give me everything. It's a matter of going out there and earning every day you live. Going out there and working your butt off every single day, whether it's in business, finance, whether it's doctors, lawyers, nurses, whatever it is, whether it's network marketing, business, whether you're selling coffee, I don't care. You need to go out there and work. You need to go out there and earn what you do every single day. You need to go out there and be kind to people. You need to respect people, and you need to be understanding. You need to learn a thing called tact, T-A-C-T, tact. It means you go out there and you don't have to argue. You can just figure out a solution. My name's Jeff Jansen. I'll talk to everybody later. God bless, and I'll talk to everybody soon.